Hello, and welcome to Twin Study After Dark. I'm your host, Sallie, joined by my co-host, Katie. We're identical twin sisters. We invite you to join us as we investigate our similarities and differences in all things life has to offer. Hello, and welcome to, oh my gosh, guys. Welcome to Twin Study After Dark, Friday Feedback. I don't know how much of the first part of this recording was recorded, but it is Sallie. I'm doing this alone tonight, and I will say something odd is going on with technology. And I made a joke about how I'm in Katie's house alone right now, and it's interesting because she talks about the lamp being haunted, and I'm acknowledging whatever spirit's here right now, if there is one, because as soon as I talked about it, our computer just like started glitching and literally glitching, like the ring screen came up and the camera wasn't working, and I'm just like, what the heck? So I just spent a couple minutes trying to fix it. I'm in headphones to go with my beautiful facade today, which is pajamas because it's 11 o'clock at night, but I just don't trust the audio either. So I'm just like, I'm going to take all precautions and hope that this Friday feedback turns out decent. So welcome in. Again, I'm sorry if you listen to two welcome ins. I'll see if they kind of go together, because honestly, I want you all to witness what I just went through. But if you don't get that information, then it just was me being very, very confused. Anyway, last week we didn't have a Friday feedback, so we're covering 2 episodes this week. Last week I was in Wisconsin with my family, and I was talking about, before the glitch happened, I was talking about how Wisconsin is really bittersweet to me. Katie and I were not born in Wisconsin, but we were born in Indiana and we moved to Wisconsin when we were 4, where we spent like basically the majority of our childhood. And I ended up going to college in Wisconsin. Katie did not. She went to Florida because she wanted to be an artist, and she went to an art school. But anyway, I absolutely love Wisconsin. Something about the people there, they're just really nice. Midwest, they have that, I don't know, I think it's like Midwest and Canada are known for just being overly nice, like just the kindest, like it's not even, it seems genuine. It's not even like, oh, God bless you, like that. It's truly like they're just nice people. And I don't know, always going back to Wisconsin, it leaves me like bittersweet, because I appreciate where I came from, and I know I won't go back. I probably won't move back there in my life. I mean, I guess maybe there could be some sort of thing that happens that I do, but I don't foresee myself moving back there. So going back is bittersweet. And a lot of my friends and family have stayed there, and it's just a really special place. Especially this trip, we brought all 4 of our kids. It was, oh Lord, it was the twins' first time on a flight, and the flight there was really good. It was in the morning, and they did great. The flight back, well, I'll get into that in a little bit, but just the kids, they got to walk around like my college, and they got to, oh my gosh, all my roommates in college got together, except for one. Shout out to Caitlin. I love you. We missed you. She is far across the way in near Seattle, so she didn't come, but that's okay. We love you, and you were there in spirit. But anyway, I got to see my kids play with like all my college friends' kids, and that was like the most heartwarming thing in the world. And it was so cool because one of my friends said, she's like, damn, this is just proof that we're soulmates, because look at how our kids just mesh instantly. And it was so true. Like, they were together for such a short time before they were like on top of each other, sitting on like the couch together and like cuddling and just playing so effortlessly together. Like, there was no fights. It was just so cool, and it was really special to see. So that was definitely 100% a highlight. And yeah, oh my gosh, I could talk about this. I could talk about that trip forever. It was really special. And thank you to everybody that I got to see and my kids got to see. I also wanted to note that, like, there is just nothing like coming home to my mom and dad's house. I don't know if everybody feels that way. I'm sure not everybody feels that way, but it's funny because my son is highly sensitive. Like he always like emotional, like he's an emotional boy, and he gets attached to things that are really special. Like if things are really fun or really happy, he really doesn't want to leave them. And like after the week, he was just like, Mom, I don't want to go home. I don't want to leave Grams and Popo's house. And I was just like, there is just something so special and magical about the house. And I really thought about it on the flight home because I think when I first became a parent, I was really trying to like create this perfect image. And I was really into like, take the perfect pictures on the holidays, and the the house needs to look perfect when friends come over, and just like the gray and white and just that farmhouse feel that Pinterest puts out so well. And after being at my parents' house again, and nothing really like is incredibly special about it, I guess, if you took a picture of it, but the way it makes you feel is so out of this world. Like comfort, love, warmth, safety. I'm like about to tear up again. Oh my God, I must be emotional. I don't know. But it really is what my childhood felt like. And my kids get to feel that now when they go and hang out with Grams and Papa. And I know my friends felt like that growing up too, because all my friends would come over. Like my mom and dad were always like, oh, have them come over here. Like we had all the sleepovers and stuff. And I was talking to Katie about it, and she's like, oh, because I was like, sometimes I'm like, your house kind of smells like mom and dad sometimes. And she's like, oh, it's cat pee. And I was like, no, it's not. And she's like, no, it probably is. Like the basement, like is where the cats would go potty or whatever. I'm like, that's so funny. But I don't know. There is a smell that I like associate with childhood that I think Katie's house has. Um, but yeah, I really like encourage everyone to reflect on like their childhood memories and like the things that made them feel safe and warm. And it just, I don't know, on the way back, I just got to thinking about like, I've been kind of thinking about this for the last like 2 years, but kind of like how people uphold this perfect image. And I was always one to try, and what a disservice that is to everybody, right? Like the awesome parts of life are messy, and there's handprints on the wall, and there's dog fur in the corners of the room, and there's lights that don't work, or I don't even know, like, just like the little touches that are just your house has been lived in. And I was just like, I'm so over this. Like I'm so over like the materialism and trying to keep up with things. Because it's really hard to do when you have 4 kids, and you can like die trying or give in to the chaos. And I feel like the last 2 years I've really been like, let's just give in to the chaos. Like it's only going to last so many years. But I'm just so thankful. Like growing up, I was in a house that my mom allowed mess in. And I didn't realize until I was an adult how much that actually made me feel safe and comfortable. And I don't know, like the house was mine too. So that's just something I marinated on the flight, which is insane that I had time to marinate on anything on the flight, honestly, because the flight back home was insane. Like the flight itself is only 2.5 hours, but we have 4 kids, and the twins are so energetic. They do not sit down. They don't like to watch anything. They want to be moving all the time. I'm calling it now. They will do something physical in their life, like work-wise, sports-wise. I don't know what it is yet, but I have guesses. But they want to be moving. So the whole flight, like they were just jumping up and down on our laps. Adam and I, so it worked. It didn't work out. On the way there, we were all together. On the way home, there were so many families coming to Orlando, for Disney and all that stuff, that Adam was like 3 rows ahead of me with a baby. And then I was in a row with myself, a baby on my lap, and then the 2 older kids. And by older kids, I mean 5 and 4. So they're not like super old, but like most of the trip, they were decent, like for the most part. They got in like one fight. But anyway, yeah, the girls, oh, if they had to sit still, they were not happy. So most of the trip, I almost said Katie, either Adam or myself was like walking them up and down the aisles because they just wanted to be moving. And like, I'm cool with that. The funny thing is there was one point where one of them was crying so much because like it was like, put on your seatbelt, you can't be up and moving. And I told the flight attendant, I was like, do you see that man over there? That is my husband. Will you please ask the people next to him like what they want to drink or eat? Like, we will pay for it. Like, I will cover them because I feel so bad for them that they're just like getting like a baby screaming in their face. But they were very nice people and they didn't want anything. But I'm like, you guys are way better than me. I'd be like, oh yeah, give me some wine or something. But it was funny because after the flight, we got off and we were home back in Florida. And there were multiple women that walked out and they go, oh my God, your husband is just a saint. He is just the best. And I get why they say that because he was walking up and down the aisle a lot with them. Like, he got an arm workout that day because he was like holding them some of the times, like both of them. But I just was like covered in chocolate and disheveled and just at my wit's end. And I was just like, yes, he is great, but I am okay too. Like, I was just like, oh. But he got so many compliments. I was like, good for Adam. But the funny thing is, men always get compliments for being a dad, but actually Adam deserves them. Like, I can't even like make a joke about it really, because yeah, any guy that was walking the baby up and down the aisle would probably get a comment and I'd be like, oh man, like if I do it, I don't get a compliment because I'm a mom. But Adam actually is like above and beyond, so he actually deserves it. So I guess I'll just like let him have it. I was like to both of them, I was like, oh, I know, he's amazing. And like, I'm so lucky. My parents are so thankful I found him. I have to admit it. He's great. But we also, oh my gosh, we also had like such crazy car trouble. Like, our car broke down, battery died when we got back. And then on the way to visit friends in Wisconsin, we got a flat tire for the first time. So I was like, what is going on with the world right now? I have like karma, I guess, coming up for me, but I feel like it all was handled really well. So anywho, that was the Wisconsin trip. I've spent so much time talking about it. Sorry, guys. This is Friday Feedback with me, and it's late at night, so I'm rambling. This is also just Sallie rambling. You guys have all heard about how I would keep ex-boyfriends up until like 3 a.m. talking. This is the reality I live in. So and now you live in being a study buddy. Woohoo. Okay. So anyway, back to the episodes. The first episode that dropped that I'm going to just say some comments on is there an age where outfits are no longer appropriate, and thruples. So a couple people did write back about the episode, and actually I got some pics and I really appreciated these. So I talked about in the episode how I really wish there was no age limit on any clothing, because I really feel like it's a form of expression, and I don't see anything really wrong with showing skin. I do think it's a shame that women's bodies are so sexualized, and men's are, I suppose, to an extent too. But if you're whatever age, whatever body shape, I support you wearing whatever you want. Like, I really love it. I love to see it. And a couple of people sent in pics. Somebody bought like a new bikini and they're like, this is my age appropriate bikini. And I was like, oh, I love that. And then another person sent in a picture and it was of her wearing shorts, and she's a new mama, and she said, thanks for reminding me to wear my shorts. And I love that because, like I said, I feel like a lot of our choices kind of come with the insecurities oftentimes of being a new mom, and your body changes. But I love spreading just a message that you can wear whatever the fuck you want to wear and feel good about it, and pass that on to our daughters. The next thing, somebody also wrote in, and this is a friend, so I need to talk to her about this, but she said, your voices are so calming. I could listen to you guys all day. And I laughed out loud because I personally hate the sound of my voice. And I know a lot of people say this when you hear your voice and it just doesn't sound the same back. I need to talk to her about this because I don't know if that's a thing. But I love you for saying that. Thank you. I'm sorry. I can't get rid of the Wisconsin accent as hard as I try. I would say it's not as bad as some, though, after visiting. But I can't get rid of it. I realized I also say, like, well, you guys know I say like, anywho. Oh, I say, do you know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like, as like validation. Okay, I'm gonna cut that out because that was obnoxious, I think, last episode. Okay, so I'm working on things. But if you say it's calming, you know what? That was a very nice compliment. Thank you. You're probably like, no, it's Katie. Also, last episode about infidelity. First of all, Katie and I listened to that back, and she was in a really shit mood that day because she got in a fight with her partner, which, growing pains, we all get in fights, no biggie. They move through it, like, it's fine. But it's funny because she was so, like, deadpan the whole episode that we were just like, we listened back and we were just dying because we're like, you are so miserable. Like, even I was like, oh, Katie. Oh, no, I said, you know how we're both married and have kids? And she's like, I'm not married. And then I was like, oh, you were, or whatever. And like, no laughter. We're just like, oh God. So you will know us very well after listening to some episodes. And you will definitely be able to tell if we're in bad moods because it sounded like last week's episode. Okay, so, somebody brought up a good point. Somebody wrote in and said, do you think that the outcome, if your partner cheated on you, do you think the outcome would be different if they came to you and told you first versus if you found out on your own? And I think that's a really good question. I really think that's a good question because I almost feel like I'd give them credit if they came to me and told me first. Personally, from experience, I will say I've never had an ex-boyfriend come to me and tell me he cheated on me. Sorry, I need like water or something. But I have gone to an ex and told him when I cheated on him. And in my personal experience, it did save the relationship temporarily. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we didn't break up right away. We stayed together for another however many months. Honestly, it was like, it was a long time. I mean, not a long time, but it was longer than it should have been. And it was probably because I came to him and told him, rather than him finding out on his own. I can imagine that would be worse. I will say if somebody came to me and told me they cheated on me, I probably would do the same. Like, I'd kind of like talk to them about it, work it out, like try to work it out, go to therapy, because they're coming to me and confessing something, like they know it's wrong. When I was cheated on in the past, I found out from other people, like outsiders, about the relationship. And as stupid as it sounds, I did stay with that person at the time too. So I don't know. I guess like now being married, I was like, no, if my husband cheated on me, I'd be done. I don't have a track record of being done right away. But I think like marriage and vows and kids, like I said, I think with that, it's black and white for me. Like I'd be like, no, I'm done. But I do want to say, I was thinking of this after that question. I was thinking about how we don't have a lot of story. I don't have a lot of stories in my personal life with my friends or family of people who have overcome infidelity in a relationship. And I think because it's so shamed on and obviously hurtful to the person you're with, that people don't share their experiences with it. I know Katie said she had a couple friends who shared it, but in a way, if it is pretty common, I would really love people to share more about it, because those people did make it through. And like, if my parents dealt with that or my grandparents dealt with that, like, I don't know that because they didn't share it with me. You know what I mean? And if somebody would have shared it with me and shared those stories, I think then we'd have more of a, I don't know, just like a familiarity with it. And also, I mean, it's something that happens in life. Like, we're all human. But yeah, so that's something I was thinking about. Anyway, oh, also, somebody brought up, what about like breaks from a relationship? Like, you take a break from each other and like then you go hook up with other people, and can a relationship survive that? And personally, for me, again, like, the only time I ever took breaks was in college, and it was like during those breaks you'd go hook up with other people, and I think that it caused enough tension when you got back together that I was always still like jealous of the person they went to hook up with, and they would be jealous of the people I went to hook up with. So it didn't work out well. But like, everybody's different. And that was also the last comment we got. Somebody said, every single person lives a totally different life. Like, right? Our stories are all different. So whatever's right for you is not right for me, vice versa. So Katie and I want to be clear, we are always talking about our opinions and like our experiences, and we hope that you find some like humor and I don't know, not guidance, but like how do I say that? See, this is why I need Katie here with me. Similarities. Like, you could relate to us or maybe not. I don't know. But I hope you find something in these stories. But I just want to remind you, like, we are going based off our opinions and like our personal experience. And somebody else's is totally valid and totally right for them. And I just want to be clear on that. Okay, the last thing. Let's see. Okay. So I think I basically covered everything. All right, the last thing I want to do is just, and I don't know, guys, this might be all rambling, and half of this might be cut out because of, I don't even want to say it, but the lamp. And if it starts glitching right now, I'm going to end the episode here, because then we know with a solid, we know it's the lamp. But if it keeps going, lamp, please let me finish for 5 more minutes. But anyway, Katie's house is really quiet at night. I'm not used to this. It feels really, really quiet and dark and scary. Anyway, lastly, in Wisconsin, my kids and I made them sit down and watch the movie Wish with me, my older kids. And I don't know if anyone has seen that movie, but it is on Disney. And it's called Wish. And guys, when I say I was bawling like a freaking baby, I mean, I was bawling like a freaking baby. My niece came in with her boyfriend, and she introduced me to him for the first time, and I couldn't stop crying. And I think he probably was scared of what happens to women when they are 35 with 4 children and a husband, because I was just like bawling, shaking his hand. I will say the movie at first, I was like, oh, it's a little slow. But I knew the backstory because Katie is very, invested in animation. And she had told me, this is the backstory. This is the basically the history or the backstory of fairy godmothers. And the woman in the film, what was her name? Asha, is basically the original fairy godmother. And so I knew that coming into watching the movie. So I think that really helped with how much I appreciated the movie, because a lot of it is an ode to Disney fairy godmothers, the magic that fairy godmothers give to princesses, and even like some of the evil bad guy stuff was all like very stereotypical of what you'd see in a Disney movie. Like, the mirror on the wall, mirror on the wall, and stuff like that. So I was like, wow, this movie is fucking good and brilliant because they tied in so much that were just like little like, oh, this is how it originated. And I don't know if they did a good job sharing that because knowing that information made me go into the movie and love it. But if you didn't know that, you might look at the movie and be like, this is stupid. This is just all the stuff that Disney always does. It's no different. But by the end of the movie, knowing that, I was just like, I was crying my eyes out. My kids are so annoyed of me because I keep replaying the main song, The Wish, like the reprise, like the second version of it, like the later part in the movie when she's like on the floor and then all the townspeople come together. I keep playing it on repeat and like dancing around our house, and they're like, Mom. And at first they were like acting like they didn't like it, but now they asked for me to play it. So I was super amazed by it and surprised because it didn't do that good review wise, but please go into it differently, I guess, like knowing that, and maybe that'll help. If not, maybe you're just not a Disney person. I know we're oddly very much Disney people, and some people aren't, but we live in Orlando, Florida. So like, give us some grace. Anyway, I love you guys. I'm so excited. Our interviews with guests start next week. So the first one will be airing the third week of June. And I just like am so excited to share what these guests have to say. And you guys get to hear. Oh, I can't wait. And besides that, we'll see you on Monday. And I love you all. Keep writing in suggestions, comments, questions, ideas. And we'll chat soon. Bye. Hi, everyone. It's Sally. We're going to leave our story there for today and pick up next week on Twin Study After Dark. If you've enjoyed our podcast today, please rate, review, and subscribe. We'll meet again next week for more Twin Studies. Bye.